Today is August 15th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today, out of the Big Book, we are on Chapter 3, more about alcoholism. We're going to be reading page 35. Out of the 12 and 12, we're going to continue our journey through Step 5 by reading page 62. And today we will read the daily reflection in 24 hours a day. So with that, hope you all are doing well today, my friends. We have been given a brand new set of 24 hours. What a wonderful gift that is, just to be alive. You know, we have one more day today to be ourselves. What a blessing that is. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from the Big Book, yesterday's reading, we are at a point where we were going to describe some of the mental relapses that go into drinking. You know, so these are the things that maybe an alcoholic might think before he takes the first drink. So we're on page 35. What sort of thinking dominates an alcoholic who repeats time after time the desperate experiment of the first drink? Friends who have reasoned with him after a spree which has brought him to the point of divorce or bankruptcy are mystified when he walks directly into a saloon. Why does he? Of what is he thinking? Our first example is a friend we shall call Jim. This man has a charming wife and family. He inherited a lucrative automobile agency. He had a commendable World War record. He's a good salesman. Everybody likes him. He's an intelligent man, normal so far as we can see, except for a nervous disposition. He did no drinking until he was 35. In a few years, he became so violent when intoxicated that he had to be committed. On leaving the asylum, he came into contact with us. We told him of what we knew about alcoholism and the answer that we have found. He made a beginning. His family was reassembled and he began to work as a salesman for the business he had lost through drinking. All went well for a time, but he failed to enlarge his spiritual life. To his consternation, he found himself drunk half a dozen times in rapid succession. On each of these occasions, we worked with him, reviewing carefully what had happened. He agreed that he was a real alcoholic and in a serious condition. He knew he faced another trip to the asylum if he kept on. Moreover, he would lose his family for whom that he had a deep affection. And out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And if you recall from yesterday's reading, we were at a point where we're talking about willpower and how it can actually be good. On page 61, it says, when we finally find that person that we want to share our inventory with, it's not easy. This is one of the hardest parts of the steps. And it does take some willpower to actually go through with this. It says right here, even when you found the person, it frequently takes a great resolution to approach him or her. No one ought to say that the AA program requires no willpower. Here is one place you may require all you've got. Happily, though, the chances are that you will be in for a very pleasant surprise. When your mission is carefully explained, it is seen by the recipient of your confidence how helpful he can really be. And the conversation will start easily and soon become eager. So, we may have fears that this might not go over well, but I can say from personal experience that it's one of the best things I've ever done. So with that, we're going to finish page 62, and we're going to finish our chapter about step 5. Before long, your listener may well tell a story or two about himself, which will place you even more at ease. Provided you hold back nothing, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. As the pain subsides, a healing tranquility takes its place. And when humility and serenity are so combined, something else of great moment is apt to occur. Many in AA, once agnostic or atheistic, tells us that it was during this stage of step 5 that he first actually felt the presence of God. And even those who had faith already often become conscious of God as they never were before. This feeling of being at one with God and man, this emerging from isolation through the open and honest sharing of our terrible burden of guilt, brings us to a resting place where we may prepare ourselves for the following steps toward a full and meaningful sobriety. Daily Reflection, August 15th. Didn't we hurt anybody? Some of us, though, tripped over a very different snag. We clung to the claim that when drinking, we never hurt anybody but ourselves. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 79. This step seems so simple. I identified several people whom I had harmed, but they were no longer available. Still, I was uneasy about the step and avoided conversations dealing with it. In time, I learned to investigate those steps and areas of my life which made me uncomfortable. My search revealed my parents, who'd been deeply hurt by my isolation from them. My employer, who worried about my absences, my memory lapse, my temper, and the friends that I had shunned without explanation. As I faced the reality of the harm that I had done, Step 8 took on a new meaning. I am no longer uncomfortable, and I feel clean and light. 24 hours a day, August 15th. AA Thought for the Day. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Commencing to drink after a period of sobriety, we are in short time as bad as ever. If we have admitted that we are alcoholics, we must have no reservations of any kind, nor any lurking notion that someday we will be immune to alcohol. What sort of thinking dominates an alcoholic who repeats time after time the desperate experiment of the first drink? Parallel with sound reasoning, there inevitably runs some insanely trivial excuse for taking that first drink. There is little thought of what the terrific consequences may be. Have I given up all excuses for taking a drink? Meditation for the day. Where 2 or 3 are banded together, I will be there in the midst of them. When God finds 2 or 3 people in union, who only want His will to be done, who want only to serve Him, He has a plan that can be revealed to them. The grace of God can come to people who are together in one place with one accord. A union like this is miracle working. God is able to use such people. Only good can come through such consecrated people, brought together in unified groups for a single purpose and of a single mind. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may be part of a unified group. I pray that I may contribute my share to its consecrated purpose. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. Always great stuff. If I could pick one to talk about, from personal experience, it'd be step 5 on page 62 of the 12 and 12. I really like the lines here, provided you hold back nothing. And I remember thinking, half measures avail mean nothing. I've got to tell this person everything. Actually, I did that in the inventory, and I had to kind of face him. And it says here, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotions of years, and this is the truth, years of fear and insecurity and anger that I felt, but mainly fear. Actually, I think fear was the root cause of my anger or insecurities. The dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. So as I was talking about this with my trusted friend, he didn't really bat an eye. And the pain subsided and this healing took place. I remember driving home, feeling so at peace with the world. And I literally drove home to a sunset. I was driving and right down the road, a couple miles from my house, and I was just looking at the sunset and thinking to myself, I'm free. I'm free. All this stuff, this fear that dominated my life, it just kind of melted away. And it made me realize, for me, fear is an acronym. It's false evidence appearing real. All the stuff that I thought would make me look like a terrible person and feel like a terrible person, when I shared these with another human being, I realized I wasn't a terrible person. I realized I was a human being, no better or worse than anybody else. And thankfully, my trusted friend, he shared his story. And I didn't look at him any differently. I actually appreciated him being honest. And it made me feel better because I realized I'm not the only one that has these human issues. So truthfully, it says right here, many in AA, once agnostic or atheistic, tells us that it was during this stage of step 5 that he first actually felt the presence of God. I can relate to that. Of course, I believed in God before. I've shared that many times, but I do feel like that was a spiritual experience driving home that day after step 5. I felt a presence and a peace that I'd never felt before. And truthfully, I felt it many times since, that presence and that peace. When I'm working the program or when I attend the fellowships or try to help my fellow man, I feel this sense of peace. My spiritual connection is so much richer in sobriety than it was beforehand. And I'm just grateful to be alive today. What a blessing. I hope you have a great day today. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours, And again, as I said at the beginning, one more opportunity to be ourselves. I don't know if anyone else is like me, but before sobriety, I was putting on this hat for this situation, this hat for this situation. I was putting on a front, trying to pretend to be somebody else so that you would like me. I don't have to be that way anymore. I'm just me. And we have another opportunity to just be ourselves today. And if you are still drinking, my friend, trust me when I say that sobriety is so much better. And you can make the choice today, that very first step, to realize that your life's unmanageable. And then you're powerless over alcohol. That's nothing to be ashamed of. If anything, that's the first step toward freedom. And you can have that freedom today. We always have a choice. So with that, my friends, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect or denomination. I'm just a friend in this lifeboat of recovery, grateful that you're here with me. And if we were given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.